WhiskyJason here, whiskey from the viewpoint of an American over here in Germany, tasting often rare and exotic whiskeys. Today I have Kingsbarn. That itself is a little bit rare and exotic, but I have a single cask, 6 years of age, in first fill ex-bourbon barrel, 233 bottles at 59.7% ABV. So, Whiskybase number 220256. This just hit the German market. It is a German exclusive for the vibrant Stills Alba Import. So I actually know the people who own and run that business. They are the importers in Germany for Kingsbarn, and they got 2 of their own single casks for Germany. One was an STR cask. Dr. Jim Swan was involved with it, and we have the bourbon cask. So, cask number 1510253. I kind of think that 15 means 2015, and I kind of think that the 10 means the month October, but I might be wrong. So that would work out actually 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. So, all right, so it was filled up before it actually hit 7. 7-year-old Kingsbarn I haven't seen actually in the market anywhere. So Kingsbarn in 6 years of age is pretty good. What would you be willing to pay for a cask strength Kingsbarn here with 6 years of age? Well, 78 euros 90. So yes, the oldest things were the 6-year-old that I have here, the single cask release. There was at oh, look here, we have 1510 and we have 1510.5. Oh yeah, that's exactly right. And we have Kingsbarns Founders Club members only. That was an ex-bourbon barrel. That was 3,000 bottles, 61.4%. Interesting, interesting. All right, so what do we have here? On the nose, we have very, very nice. Oh, what do I mean? We have pear, we have a green apple, we have a little bit of citrus, we have a lot of powdered sugar and vanilla plus a tiny little bit of ginger. Have you ever made your own ginger tea? You take the ginger root and you just take maybe a little bit of a peeler, carrot peeler, and you put a couple pieces in there, and if it's too strong, that's a little bit of that ginger that I'm getting here. And there's a little bit of grassiness. Manochmore sometimes has that same grassiness. Now, I do have my new book, the the Malt Yearbook 2023. I actually am in it, which is a privilege that I can't actually explain. If you turn to page 73, you will see here that there's WhiskyJason YouTube. There's no star beside my name. A star means that these are his personal favorites. If I go over here to ralphie.com, by YouTube, there's no star on his name either. But if I go up to the very beginning, Aquavite, by YouTube, by Roy, there's a star. And so that's kind of cool, isn't it? So, Kingsbarn, according to the information this year, located in Fife, the Kingdom of Fife, near St. Andrews. The distillery was opened by the Weems family in November of 2014. So this is actually a old farmstead from the 18th century. So there was planning permission in March of 2011. Didn't work out, and then in 2012 the Weems family came, rescued the project, took over the project, invested millions into it, and now we have a running distillery. 1.5 ton stainless steel mash tun, 7,500 liters stainless steel washbacks, and they have a fermentation time of between 72 and 120 hours. And they have a 7,500 liter wash still and a 4,500 liter spirit still. They're producing at the moment about 200,000 liters a year. If they ran 24/7, they would be up to a total of 600,000. So that's about that. Now the first distillery edition for me was called what's it called? Dram to Dreams? So, Dream to Dram. I always forget that. Yeah, from Dream to Dram makes more sense. And their sherry edition is called Balcomi. I actually like that much better than I thought I was going to do. That was good stuff. What am I going to compare it to? Well, I'm going to go over here to a Lindor's. This is a limited edition. This is their bourbon cask maturation. The casks of Lindor's, this is 49.4%, and this is 59.7. Is that a little bit unfair? Yes, it is. Is this still a good comparison? I think so. Why? Both of these are very new distilleries, and this was started 2014. Lindor's was started, let's take a look here, the new distilleries. Lindor's was started 2017. They produce up to 225 liters, 225,000 liters a year. They're producing about 200,000, so it's a fair comparison. And both of these are the purest of casks bourbon. Many of the new distilleries, when they put new stuff out, they're very either sherry heavy, STR heavy, port heavy. There's always going to be that fortified wine moment going on there, almost always. But these are excellent, excellent representations of what a distillery can do with their bourbon cask maturation. On the nose, this is a little bit funkier than this. This is clear. This is clean. I like this. This has a little bit of that powder sugar, a little bit of that icing on there. This goes in a totally different direction. This goes to a tropical fruit moment with a tiny little bit of sour green apple in there as well. So I like the concept of Lindor's. I like the concept of Kingsbarn. I like the fact that Kingsbarn is making good stuff, and the distillery manager, his name is Peter Holroyd. The guy looks like he's 23. He's 40-something, I think, but he is a powerhouse of knowledge of distilling. That guy knows what he's doing. And so I'm very, very pleased to have here this bottle in front of me. A German exclusive, 233 bottles. I think I had 3 actually. I bought 3, sold on 2 of those already, but this is mine that I shared with others. Cheers. And the alcohol, 59.7%, doesn't burn on the nose at all, but on the palate. It cannot deny that it's 6 years old, and it cannot deny that it's 59.7% ABV. I'm going to say the 6 years old isn't the problem. It could be 10, it could have been 12, but that almost 60% really hits the palate, and you notice that it's got some heat going on in there. All right, so I'm going to dilute it down. Now, it's got a sweet moment here. I like that sweet. There's a little bit of that cereal malted goodness going on here. There's a tiny, tiny little bit of that citrus and that ginger moment. But it's a very clean spirit, very well made. One of the secrets of their distilling process, they say, is, first of all, slow distillation. I've heard this all the time. Slower is better than fast. What do you mean? I do know that I was in a stripping run with a wash still, and what they did is they had the heat. Usually there's a gas. Usually, okay, your Glenfarclas, you'll have gas. It'll be direct fire. Normally you don't have that. Normally you have steam. And you can control the amount of steam just like you have a radiator. You can turn it all the way up. It gets hotter. You can turn it down. You can control the temperature. And also the same thing with a still. You can control the temperature either with a real handle dial, a crank, or computer. And what you do is when you start up, you have a little bit more power. You wait till the liquid heats up, and then you slow it down. And then you, oh, look, something's coming out, and that's the heads. And you slow down, and then when the heart hits, you let that run. And when the tails hit, you go, okay, that's enough, and you crank it back up. Now, that was not the stripping run. The first run is you turn it up all the way, you cook off all the alcohol, and you stop. Because you take that, usually you take the hearts and the tails with you, sometimes even the heads, and only you start doing the cuts with the spirit run. And the spirit run is that slow process. Now, of course, some people crank it up a little bit more, even with the hearts, and you really get that action going in there, get those molecules moving, and that all that heat is in there, and you'll get more of those things you might not want. And so this is a pure moment. And so it's a much purer, and they have a much earlier cuts. They don't go into the tails hardly at all, or maybe not at all. They actually cut just in a very tight heart, and that's what they use here. And this is very, very, very nice, clean spirit. This, on the other hand, has, as I mentioned, that tropical fruit, almost a little bit of like a mango maracuya moment going on there with that sour green apple. And the palate as well. This is definitely, personal opinion, complexer. There is a lot more happening there in my palate, in my mouth. The aftertaste lasts longer, but it's a taste that I do not appreciate as much as I do with the Kingsbarn. The Kingsbarn is clean. It's pure. It's very, very, very coloring within the lines. This colors outside the lines a little bit, which some people love. I have my days that I like it more. Today's one of those days where it's like, oh, yeah, that's got a little bit of funk going on there. Not the Springbank funk, just a little bit of coloring outside the line funk. That's very good. And it's a very, very interesting, well-made spirit. So if I remember correctly, 1 wash still, 2 spirit stills. And remember, the wash still, do it quickly, get it done. The spirit stills, make sure you actually have the perfect cuts there. Over here, I think the perfect ABV would have been about 55 to 53%. I think that the 59.7 overpowers this whiskey with alcohol. That is not needed. I am not the biggest fan of having cask strength. I do like to have my non-chilled filtered natural color. But natural cask strength is something where I go, yeah. That's I seek the flavor, and if the flavor's better at a different ABV, give it to me. 49.4. Apparently they tried it. Apparently they decided on this. This was like, oh, it's cask strength. Boom. We're gonna try it. Okay. It's too hot without the water, but with the water. This does turn into a fine representative of what a bourbon cask matured whiskey should and can be. Clean, precise, nice. This is a C+ whiskey on a good day. This is a little bit more colorful, tropical. This is a little bit more classic and pure. Depending on what I want, I'd give them both a C+ at this moment. This, with its 78 euros 90. If you take the rule 10 euros per year, this is a 6-year-old whiskey, 60 euros is max. It's too much. If you add another 20 euros and say, but it's Jason, it's cask strength, and it's a single cask, then you could say, all right. But if I put it in a different context, can you please name from a new distillery not older than 10 years of age, a single cask strength bourbon matured whiskey under 80 euros? I know a lot of single cask, even from independent bottlers, that were in a sherry cask and a finish and different things. But a pure first fill ex-bourbon cask in cask strength from a new distillery, that makes us fairly unique. So my question of the day, if I go back here to the online Scotch Whisky Awards together with Ralphie and Aquavite Roy, we will have the category number 6, the best new distillery in 2022. Artnamachen, sorry, I can't pronounce it all the time. Artnamachen won. Bimber, Coswolds, Glasgow Distillery, Rase, and Torabeg were all nominated but did not win. What is your favorite new distillery? Kingsbarn did not have any single mention at all at the OSWA, the Oswals, the Online Scotch Whisky Awards, but still I think they're doing very, very good work, and it's very, very interesting to continue to observe what they're doing. So do you have a favorite Kingsbarn bottling? Is it the Balcomi? Is it the Dream to Dram? Is it a single cask you've had? If I go back very briefly here to our to Whiskybase, there are a total of wow, I should be able to see this someplace, shouldn't I? How many Kingsbarns we have here? Highest rating whiskey, average rate, long row. I can't do this. Wait a second. Why don't I know how many there are? The core range is actually 2. So, and then we have here a lot of single cask release from 2016. So, there are quite a few out there. Kingsbarn. Why can't I see how many there are? Kingsbarn? Kingsbarns with an S. 49 whiskeys. Finally found it. At the Whiskybase is a total of 49 bottlings from Kingsbarn already. Wow. And are there any that's 750? No. They have not made it over to the US yet. That's no longer a requirement. We can now put in those 700s into the States. But that has only been this year. So they've had this year a Kingsbarn Balcomi cask strength. And they had the 6-year-old release. And that's it. Wow. Not very much. I know I was disappointed by the Kingsbarn Bellrock, but hey, who knows? Thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for listening. Thank you very much for enjoying. And please share and take a look at your new distilleries out there. Don't forget the Lindors. Don't forget the Kingsbarns. Don't forget the Torabegs and all the other things. If you can get your hands on them, try them, please. See you soon. Bye-bye. Whiskey Jason.